next guest, who is Tom Lee, says he expects stocks to draw down at some point in the first half, but hasn't seen the signs of a near-term top. Let's bring in Tom Lee, managing partner, head of research at Fundstrat Global Advisors, as well as a CNBC contributor. I referenced our conversation. We weren't in makeup per se. Sometimes we talk on makeup. This just happened to be outside of the makeup room.
Yes.
But we're still talking. I like it better when we're actually sitting down and sort of, you know, I feel like that stimulates me when,
Yes.
when we're You said immediately, there's some dry powder left. It's not over yet, although there are some signs of fatigue.
Yes, I mean, we've rallied 16 weeks, up 23%. The last two sort of long rallies were 16 to 19 weeks and 21 to 22%. So it's mature, but we don't see the signs of the tops. Normally, like, margin debt is only $700 billion. It was $900 billion in October 21, and there's still $6 trillion of cash on the sidelines. And even this week into NVIDIA earnings, I kind of see the stock kind of weak into the report, which makes me think the stock could surprise to the upside. And I think that would sort of help us get some more juice on the upside from here.
That's interesting. The one of your calls, which and I remember at the time we just stopped doing that. It was like a weekly call for the S&P based on an inflation number, on a friendly inflation number. Last week, we did not get friendly inflation numbers. But do you think that the trend is intact?
Yes, I think there are some difficult seasonals because, you know, companies raise prices in January. That made January look like a hot CPI number. And I think February CPI, which comes out next month, is going to reverse some of that, and it's going to put investors in the bond market thinking inflation is falling again. So.
Oh my God, that'd be a great time for another one of your calls. If you hadn't sworn off making a call on where the S&P will be in a week, that would be a good time to do it, but don't.
Yes, I've promised myself not to do that.
Okay.
Can I just ask one question? Given this sort of short-term bearish, would you call it short-term bearish?
Well, I think there's going to be a moment where investors have to get cautious, but I mean, it's a maturing rally, so I don't think, you know, this is...
So I guess the question is, for those folks who are sitting around with cash right now, everyone's always trying to figure out, I have a little cash, if they have cash, what am I supposed to do? Are they supposed to wait for some kind of grand moment to put it in the market? And of course, timing is always sort of a challenging thing to do. Are they supposed to put it in Bitcoin? I know we'll probably get there in about a second. What would you be doing with your money if you knew things were about to get worse and not better?
Well, we know markets have a pretty good 12-month runway from here, and I don't think investors should be 100% cash. I think if they have been sitting on cash and missed a lot of this 24% move, I think they need to dollar cost average. You know, put a little bit in on weakness, and this has been a kind of a weak week. And then just be patient. I think patient money is really the money that's been working the last few years.
But you don't think that that the Fed needs to stay tighter longer because inflation is still a major problem? You think that we will get some rate cuts this year?
Yes, and you know, I think, again, I know the statistics don't show it, but I think the job market has weakened a lot. You know, one of the big drivers of inflation for the past 8 months has been auto insurance, you know, up 23%. I'm not sure monetary policy really gets auto insurance rates down. It just has to play out. And, you know, housing is starting to really come out the other side so we can get lower inflation.
Is it still get a soft landing, or is it getting harder?
I think the economy is actually stabilizing, and then if we get lower interest rates, it actually really stabilizes it.
Okay. We teased Bitcoin because I have no idea. I don't know what it's trading on. I don't know what you think it's trading on. Now the ETFs, obviously that was something. Usually it likes the Fed to ease, so you just said some positive things about that, maybe for more printing. But I said, and I was just throwing out a number. We're at 50. I said, what you said it might be strong for the remainder of the year.
Yeah.
I said 75. What did you say to me?
I think it's, you know, it could be as high as 150,000 this year.
So double what I thought was.
Yeah.
150,000, so we're tripling at this point.
Yeah, because you've got demand improving with the ETF, and you have the supply shrinking with the halvening, And if monetary policy eases, which we expect, that's supportive of risk assets, and Bitcoin's holding up. I mean, that's another reason why I don't think a drawdown's going to start that soon. I mean, Bitcoin's been rallying the last couple weeks.
Wow.
So
Take that to the bank.
those are big numbers. I don't know anymore.
And are you in, let me just go back, are you in the camp of this is like a $500,000 valued
Over the next,
over 5 years? Are you?
Yeah, it is sound money, and I think it's proving to be useful. And
Proving to be useful how?
well,
I mean, it's very useful if you're an investor right now.
yes, it's been a great store of value. It's been a good risk asset. It's also incredibly secure. There hasn't been a single fraudulent entry on the blockchain since inception. I don't think any bank can say that's true of their P&L and accounting. 6% of banking transactions are suspicious, 0% on the Bitcoin.
What did Gensler say the other day, that he trusts the Oracle database more than the blockchain
Well, the thing that
distributed ledger? But that was bizarre, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, the blockchain is just one big piece of software, but I would trust the proof of work concept, that you now, instead of having 5 people manage an Oracle database, you have a consensus mechanism, and that's
Right,
what's
exactly.
So, but Tom, here's the flip side of that, and you've heard it from the Jamie Dimons of the world, maybe even Elizabeth Warrens and others who say, despite what you said about sort of how good the blockchain is to be able to find where things are, it is the medium of choice for ransomware. I mean, just you go through the list of sort of terrible illegal behavior. People in that world seem to love Bitcoin. What does that say about this?
Well, pirates were the first people that liked gold, so we knew gold was a good store of value. But I think equally important, the dollar is used in more illicit activity.
99.
I know we talked about that. Obviously, by the way,
99.9.
and Joe's made that point before. But you don't. So you ascribe nothing to the idea that Bitcoin is a beloved currency for those who are trying to do nefarious things.
Well, here's a way to think of it. Criminals don't trust anybody, but they trust Bitcoin. And so if you want to say what is a trusted asset, it's really what would be the least trustworthy code.
This is like saying you follow the technology that starts with PORN, right?
No, I think
because that's
I think it's like
right. I remember like videotapes and
it's like blaming the object for itself for the nefarious behavior when it's the humans that are using that. I mean, can you imagine the world of pain management without strong pain medicine? Look what happens when you abuse the pain medicine. But can you imagine it with it's and I've even used you take a car or a truck.
No, of course, but some have more utilities. No, but this is the difference, and I will take Gary Gensler's side on this particular description of the situation.
Yeah.
A car has immense value to society, economic value to society.
Why does it,
there's a utility
right,
case.
but why does it resonate with you?
You could argue that strong Tylenol actually has a
but in the history of the world,
utility.
In the history of the world,
right.
If 99% of the nefarious activities were using dollars, why don't you have the same negative viewpoint towards a dollar?
Because it has a great utility, in the same way the car has a great utility.
Well, you don't, because you don't appreciate the utility of Bitcoin doesn't mean that other people don't appreciate it.
The only people right now that appreciate
No, that's not true. That's not true. I don't appreciate it because I'm using it for ransomware. I appreciate it because it's a store of value. I don't appreciate
it a store of value or
it's a store of value.
Not that it goes up. If it was a store of value, it would stay one price.
No. Like gold was $300 not too long ago. It's now $2,000. It doesn't stay at the same price. It goes up as you print more money.
It's more of a speculative investment.
No, I don't think that's why Michael
Saylor and others. It's turned out to be a great investment for those who are investing in it. I'm not saying it's a bad investment. I'm just saying long term, if we're all sitting around this table,
Tom,
10 or 20 years from now,
explain how it's sound money. It's sound money.
I understand. It's not that I don't understand conceptually what's going on.
Why do you say that it has no use then, other than nefarious uses?
No. I think the use case is as a speculative tool as a way potentially even to hedge against other things if you think that it's correlated or non-correlated to other things. That is the use case. That's the utility. As an investment, that is